Hi, everyone, and welcome to World History with Miss Mary. Today, we are going to be exploring ancient India, another great ancient region where civilizations grew and prospered. So, we will begin this Google slide presentation by discussing how the geography of India played a role in the development and life of the people during that time period. And the first thing you need to know is that India has two distinct seasons, rainy season and dry season. And this will play a major role in how India was built and how it was able to flourish. As always, we're going to discuss our essential questions. And our first essential question is how do mountains and seasonal winds shape the climate of India? So, India is a subcontinent or large landmass that is like a continent, only smaller. The subcontinent includes Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, and most of Pakistan. This area is often referred to as South Asia. Geographers believe it was actually once a separate piece of land and it slowly inched north until the two lands met. And this collision pushed up beautiful, vast mountain ranges that you'll see on the next slide. These high mountains tower at the northern border of India. Hindu Kush and the Himalayas are two of the mountain ranges. And within these mountain ranges are two extremely famous mountains that I'm sure you heard of, Mount Everest and Mount K2. Um, Everest is the highest point in the world above sea level. And in addition to these amazing mountains, there are also great rivers, and these include the Ganges and Indus rivers. Now, the silt deposited by these rivers over centuries has made the land extremely fertile and great for planting and growing crops. An ancient river, once called the Saraswati, once ran parallel to the Indus River, but it dried up. And historians' best guess is that most likely this was caused by an earthquake, although they're not 100% sure. Now let's talk about the climate. Remember, climate refers to weather conditions over a long period of time. And because of the tall mountain ranges, much of the cold winds coming in from the north are blocked from reaching much of India. And as a result, India is generally very, very warm. India has monsoons, which are seasonal winds and storms. Now, winters in India tend to be very dry, and summers are very warm and rainy. It is the summer monsoons that help provide rain and water for the crops. Unfortunately, these same rains can be destructive and cause severe flooding. So next, we will discuss how civilizations grew along the Indus River. And our next essential question asks, why was the earliest Indian civilizations located near the Indus River? Now, just so you know, I am not referring to American Indians or Native Americans. Um, from here on out, when we refer to the word Indian, we are actually referring to people who come from India. So the early inhabitants were very similar to those in Sumer in Egypt. Like Sumer in Egypt, early civilizations began near water, and in this case, it was the Indus River. Early farmers raised wheat and barley, and by 3000 BC, they were able to start growing cotton. They domesticated cattle, sheep, goats, and chicken. They also learned how to make tools out of copper and bronze, and they also helped to develop a more complex culture. Um, so, looking at great cities, by 2500 BC, villages in India had grown into great cities. The Indus Indus and Swartwally valleys contained hundreds of cities, and it is estimated that at least 35,000 people may have lived in some of the largest and best known cities. Now, so two of the biggest cities during that time were Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Today, those ancient civilizations are actually known as the Harpan civilizations. Um, there were also planned cities, and these cities were cities that were built to a very specific design. Um, in these cities, roads crossed each other in a very neat grid with square corners, and along the streets you would find the homes and shops and factories. So ancient Indians were also very skilled and advanced for their time. Unlike other civilizations, they were able to deal with various problems. They came up with various ways of getting rid of waste, and almost every house had some type of bathroom with like a makeshift toilet. They created underground sewers, and that would take the waste away from the city. Now, we're not thinking of a toilet like we know today that flushes and everything, but it was very advanced for its time. So, ancient Indian cities were very complex and well thought out, and designing and building these complex cities took a lot of skill. And it is for this reason um, that they believe whoever ran these cities, they were very powerful leaders. What is unknown is who exactly ruled these cities. And historians' best guess is that a combination of kings, priests, and nobles actually ruled together. So, looking at our next essential question, what were the cultural features of the Harpan civilization? Well, first of all, religion has been hard to determine. But as for now, archaeologists have not identified any site or temple of specific gods. However, they have found evidence of a religion. Mohenjo-daro had a huge public bath that they believe may have been used for various religious rituals. Archaeologists have also found figures of animals, such as bulls, and we know now that the Indians regard those as very holy. Clay figures, such as the one pictured here, um, have been found, and they think that they may be goddesses or maybe just very elaborate dolls, but they really don't know for certain. So, a widespread and prosperous culture. So the Harpan religion spread across an area of about 500,000 square miles in size. Harpan people used standards weights and measurements, so like pounds, kilograms, and things like that. Historians have also discovered similar statues and clay toys. Now, this is really important of a discovery because it actually shows historians that Harpins could afford to have more than just the basic necessities, that they could actually indulge in some of the finer things. And this was most likely made possible, and they were able because they were able to gain their wealth from the agriculture and trade. They were very skilled at trading with other civilizations, and archaeologists have even found seals from the Indus Valley as far as away as Mesopotamia. So they know that they traveled far, and they know that they had very good trading skills. Now, Indians, they traded goods such as timber, which is wood for building, ivory, which comes from elephant tusks, and beautiful, elaborate beads that were made into necklaces and jewelry and such. Now, just like all of the civilizations we've discussed, the Harpan life did have its challenges. And around 2000 to 1500 BC, earthquakes shook the region. And it is believed that these quakes probably are what caused the Swartwati River to dry up. And that could be for numerous reasons. It could have been that it caused it to flood and it spread out and then was dried up in the land. It could be that it caused a crack in the Earth's crust and the water went seeped in. They really don't know what caused it, but they're pretty sure it did have to do with an earthquake. The same natural disasters may have been what caused the Indus River to flood, which we do know earthquakes can cause the waters to act very strangely. It can Earthquakes can cause tsunamis. Um, they cause flooding, and so that's really why they think that's what affected the Harpan civilization. Unfortunately, these problems would eventually force the Harpans to leave their cities, and this eventually led to its decline. So we're going to be moving on. This is the end of chapter 7, section 1. And before I end this video, I just want to review a few things. So we learned about the rivers and of India, and the seasonal monsoons helped make agriculture possible. We learned about the abundance of agriculture that led to trade, which led to wealth, which led to a very prosperous and complex civilization. We know that the Harpan culture was full of life and prospered for many years until natural disasters led to its decline. So, thank you for listening. Please click on the next video, Chapter 7, Lesson 2, to learn about the origins of Hinduism.